Hello and welcome to the Experience Podcast. I am a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. My name is Neil, and with me today we have a various amount of wonderful beings that are here right now, and I'm very grateful and blessed to be in the presence of such wonderful people. AJ, if you want to introduce yourself, go for it, and then we'll continue to introduce ourselves, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
AJ, warrior, wanderer, learner. Not much past that.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm from Chicago, and I just came here to spend time with my family.
And I'm Dennis, and I'm a spiritual being walking around in a meat suit.
I'm Carl, and I came to enjoy some company with some friends and family.
So with this video, and really with all videos that you watch, I invite you to practice your discernment and to only let that into your consciousness, which actually resonates with you and which you feel into your heart that there's value there. And so with like relating to people and like interacting with people, recently I heard Dakota of Earth talking about on a podcast that he filmed that how he relates to people is from a place of a child that's within the adult. And like coming from a place like that, like we're children and we've gone through experiences, we've gone through traumas, we've gone through amazing things, but all that compiled brings us to where we're at now. But all those things they're not a grown-up. They're things that are happening to a child. And so I can really relate to people when I see a child within the person. So how do you relate to people, Carl? And how do you see that perspective? Do you share that perspective, or do you have a different perspective in how you relate to people?
I do. I mean, I would say in a way, yes. Like I would say in a way, like I could not be also like the inner child, just saying like doing what you love and like want to stay true to your heart and whatnot, like just meeting people, staying happy and trying to stay happy through everything,
Yes.
And that's how I make it connections.
Awesome. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So what is your perspective on that, Dennis? When you relate to people, what is your perception of the person that you're relating to?
Well, my perception is, I feel like a lot of it has to do with me just being like listening, because I feel like there's a lot of times where somebody will be speaking and I'll be in my head, I'm already trying to think of an answer rather than listening to what they're actually saying.
Yes.
Because what they're saying and what they're actually saying might be two different things. So that's just something that for me, like I try to be more aware of, because that way I can, relate more with them.
Yeah.
See where they're coming from.
I love that.
So that's my.
It's like you said, seen from the idea of like the inner child, like a child doesn't see like race, he doesn't see like any of the other stuff. He doesn't have like predilections, like judging the book by its cover, Like they just want to have fun, they want to meet new people, and then they see something that's interesting to them, something that like sparks even the littlest of interest, and they're like, ooh, and they go. You know?
I feel like in a way I relate with people from my inner child versus,
Ooh,
you know,
that's fascinating.
because not saying it brings you back to like childhood state, but I feel like when I was a kid, I like relate those experiences to right now, you know, so like how I was treated and like what's happened to me and like how people have like received information I've given them, you know, so forth. I take that all back from like when I was a kid, you know, so I'm more intrigued with people in that state because I'm like, I feel like I'm still fresh and brand new in a way. You know what I'm saying? So
I do not know what you're saying, but what I do realize is that there's not a lot of people that can say what you just said, and that they feel fresh. And a lot of people right now feel heavy and feel depressed and feel not the best. What would you say to a person that's feeling that way?
just gotta stay strong. I mean, you know, see a different life experience for different people. I learned a long time ago how to kind of turn my chakras off. So if I don't want to feel anything, like, and I'm just going through like daily occurrences, I can do that, you know. But if I open them, you know, then I become like everything becomes like really real, you know. Then I start feeling every single thing. Like,
Yes.
you know, down to, you know, like everything, like everything. So I mean, with me having like learning how to do that, like that took a lot of time. But when I did know how to do that, I mean, the only thing that keeps me going is just treating others how I want to be treated. And even if they don't treat me that way, I know that I did my part. You know?
Yes.
And I know that I was good in my, you know, in my part, like what I did, what I've done, like energy that I've given them, you know, like I know that it was nothing wrong with it.
Unconditional,
Yeah,
no conditions.
yeah, no, yeah. So, you know how people say, oh, well, I did this for you, so you should do this for me. I'm not that
That's
person.
called whoring. That's when you
Yeah.
that's when you give to get.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not that kind of person. I'm more like, so back to like the inner child thing. I'm more like a kid. I give everything.
Yes.
You know?
That's wow. That's amazing.
So, you know, I don't have stipulations on my love and like care. Even if I don't know you, I can still have empathy. You know.
Yes.
I still see people as people, like you're still human, you still matter.
Right.
Like whether someone told you that or not, I tell people all the time,
Mhm.
you matter. You're important, whether you think that.
Because that's what you want to see in the future. You want to see that world. So therefore, as you go throughout your day, you're creating
I
that.
want people to know that there's people out here that's not gonna all like treat them like garbage.
Yeah.
That there's people out there that actually, there's someone out there that even if I don't know you, I still believe in you.
I actually have a story to share on that. Yesterday, I was at an air pump putting air into my tire in my vehicle because it was slow, at low air pressure. And I pumped it up and I was kicking it to check the pressure, and there was a truck beside me, and this guy lowers his window, and I looked at him and he looked at me and he's like, hey, and I said, hey. And he goes, do you want a tire pressure gauge? And I said, yes, I do. And he hands me a tire pressure gauge, and I checked it and I did it how I wanted it and gave him his gauge back and left. And I was imagining in my head how nice it would be to have a tire pressure gauge. And there it was. But it's that thing of that I wanted to share that because there are people out there that are expressive and that are giving and that are loving. And it's only our little limited perception that we can only sometimes perceive negative occurrences and negative things, but we're not seeing all the positive things that are going on
And
at an exponential rate right now, more than it has ever.
I want to also bring out the fact that at that moment that you were looking for that tire pressure gauge, like did you have childlike faith at that point that you
didn't even have faith that I was gonna get one. I was just imagining to myself, wow, it sure would be nice to have one.
I believe you
Okay.
manifested it.
I feel the same way.
You manifested it.
I really
I-
feel the same
You
way.
felt
happens to
good
me all
while
the
you were
time.
thinking that
I
thought.
did.
Okay,
That happens to me all the time. Seriously.
It's amazing.
it is.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, sometimes the things you desire just come to you, especially like when you're in true need.
But I think also it's from like the energy that you put forth as well.
It is,
comes back.
yes.
So that's why I try to like be good to everyone, because you just, I want all that good energy back. You know, because that'd be cool, you know?
Oh,
Get
yes.
some good vibes back, some good energy,
Correct.
you know, and I don't mind when it happens, you know, that's why I say like, if, you know, the person can be kind or not, like it can happen later, you know?
Yes.
But still, you know, I that's just how I try to look at it. And people try to tear me down because they don't understand, like, why is she like that? Like, you know, what's going on here? Like, I've seen it in people's eyes, like they literally have no faith left, like there's nothing left, you know?
The Walking Dead.
Yeah, yeah.
They get
but-
buried at 23 or they die at 23 and don't get buried until 65 or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, more so like people that, I don't know. I see certain different lights in people's eyes. You know?
Yes. So with the energy thing, how do you relate to people's energy? So this is now maybe not so much, it is the child, I feel like, can be an energy about a person. So how do you interact with people's energy? Can you feel it? Can you?
Yeah.
What is your
Yeah.
experience with that?
When you feel the things that other people are feeling and then kind of attract the vibes you want to attract. I mean, you attract your own vibe always. So when you got your vibe out there doing what you want to do and you're finding people doing what you love as well. And I mean,
Yes.
connect over that.
So like when you walk up to a person, how do you like, what's the first thing that you notice energetically?
How they're feeling.
Really? So you're just able to walk up to a
Not
person and be
really,
like,
I can kind of just read the vibe. I don't know. I feel like it's like you having a bad day, you having a good day. Like,
and from how far away are you able to tell this?
I mean, sometimes like I'll text a friend that lives out in Chicago or something, and like, and I'll be like, that's insane that you just texted me right now. So I don't know.
Because it's maybe out of the ordinary but so am I hearing that you're able to feel it long distance?
Yeah. Which that's like, it makes sense because like you can tune in long distance. Like there's long distance Reiki sessions and whatnot that my mom does all the time.
Yes,
I've never done any, but that does actually make sense.
it does very much.
And I have received a Reiki session from your mom,
Yeah.
long distance, and I can attest that it works.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like, really, what is distance? Like we really don't even have distance. It's only the perception of the distance between the things that we're seeing. Because if you can pick up energy from that distance, and you were saying that your mother literally does the Reiki healing over that distance, plus modern day science is now proving with the split photon experiment. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So I could briefly explain that. with the split photon experiment, they took a photon, which is, I guess, one of the smallest building blocks of what we see physically, and they split this thing into two. However they did it, I do not know, but they did it somehow. And then they fired these two split photons 7 miles in the opposite direction of each other, so 14 miles apart. And the reason that they split it was so that the two photons would be genetic, like exactly identical, like clones of each other. But they were now two. So then what they did with the one over here is that they moved it, or they touched it, or they breathed on it, and then they observed what happened over here by the other one. Well, as soon as they moved this one moved. So they're like, okay, well, so obviously they're interacting. They did not move the other one. They just moved the one, and this one moved identically, simultaneously as the other one did. So then they wanted to learn the time lapse between when they moved this one and what time did it take for that interaction to happen, for this one to move. So they were timing it, and they just kept getting within the milliseconds, like really dialing it in. And what they found was that 0 time elapsed. When they moved this one moved simultaneously at the same time that this one was moved, this one moved.
Wow.
So through what they found from that was, through this field that we're in, is that cells and photons and the building blocks of what is structure are in communication long distance.
That's crazy.
It's amazing, and it is crazy. And I brought that up because to tie that right into that story about your mother and the Reiki.
Yeah. That's kind of amazing, honestly.
It is. And for the viewers, that the split photon experiment will be in the description of this video. So if you want to look at that, do it, but do your own research, and really do your own research, because that's the most research. That's the research that's the most important to you, or to you, or to you.
Yeah.
It's not the research that I do. It's the research that Carl does that's most beneficial to Carl.
Yeah.
So, do you have more to add on relating to people?
I did have a thought that I was going to share, but if you guys want to share your thoughts, I'm gonna rewind a little bit in my brain and get it.
I don't know. I just try to connect with everyone on a certain level.
AJ, when you walk up to a person, what is your method of relating to that person?
Depends on the person, depends on why I'm walking up.
Yes.
I say, anytime I'm going into like a restaurant, a situation where it's someone who's giving me service or the 9 yards, kindness. And if they're having a bad day, bring them up a little bit. And usually just positivity, because I like something you said earlier, like some people try and tear the positive and the happy and the good vibe person down. Cool, let them try all they want. That just makes me work even harder. It makes me smile even bigger about it. Because being that person sometimes inspires other people to be that person.
That's what I'm saying.
And then when you get other people to be that person, then that's how it
Yeah, so
comes out.
I feel like hopefully manifests into something
Oh,
bigger.
yeah. Be bigger,
Hopefully for
better.
some people, it's a movement for them. You know?
It is. It's actually turning into a global movement at this
Because,
point.
I mean, I've had a lot of situations where I've had people with their energy way off, you know, super disturbed, super disrupted, not, you know, not one, like not present, like not here, you know. I've met people like that do that, like they're just, I just know their frequencies are off. And I've had them approach me, say things to me. And I think that at this point, for me, I'm just like, I don't react, like, I don't give back any negativity whatsoever, you know, I never do that. And maybe partially because I'm like shocked, because I'm just like, did you really just say something, like, you know, because I'm cool, like, what's going on here, you know? But then also like,
That's
I don't have to give back what,
right at that point where someone says something and you're like, did you really just say that? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing, like when right at that moment, that's when I really see the inner child in the other person. Because when he says that thing, I think to myself, wow, he must have gotten so
I'm-
hurt when he was
yeah,
a
I'm just
child.
like,
And like,
Yeah.
what are you hurting from?
something's going on here, like,
Yes.
and whatever's happening, like, you can't be, you know, forthcoming about it.
Yes.
If you this way, then, you know, I honestly, I just sit back and let, I'm like, do your thing. I have to let that person live their life.
You
make
ever
their own
heard that quote that
decisions.
says, hurt people?
Yeah,
There's more
I
to
know,
it, and
I
then
know,
it
but
goes
there's-
to,
but I mean,
it says heal people,
I would hope that I've like done some good, you know,
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Yes.
If people have seen me, they're like seeing these things, I've had people stand around and see these things happen and like, just, you know, I don't need anyone to take up for me, I don't need any help, like, you know.
That's
But I
just-
think the look in my eye, hopefully for people, is like, cause I mean, I'm a 27-year-old female, you know. I got people talking to me that like emitting energy, like,
Yes.
you should have grown up at like these stages in their lives that they've gone through that I haven't even gone through yet. How do I know to be kind, but you can't?
Yes.
You've been here longer than me, you can't like not be like that. For what?
Literally, and there's no
No,
reason
and there's
not
no
to be
absolutely
kind.
no absolute.
Except that
But
they're
also
hanging-
there's
they're-
some people that just,
They're hanging on to the hurt of the past, is what's going on.
or they fail to see that there's people that don't have any negativity. Because that's possible. I mean, that's,
Yes.
there's some people that don't wake up and they're like, hey, I'm gonna make someone's day bad. You know? Like, I like to keep that energy at home, like, you know, keep it where I left it, like, resolve it, then, you know, move on with your day. Don't be around people if you're
Correct.
not, if you're not
That's-
feeling it and you're, you know,
Yeah,
you got some issue, you know.
That's
handle
really,
that before you leave the front door, because now you're supposed to be
Yes.
one with this earth, and you're not being one with this earth, you're being one with yourself,
ooh,
and, you know.
can you repeat that?
You're not being one with this earth, now you're just being one with yourself.
Can you say that one more time, please?
What the negative, you leave that, like you resolve that. Because
Yes.
if you don't, when you leave out the front door, you're not gonna be one with the earth, you're gonna be one with yourself.
That's incredible. I'm so glad you shared that. Stay blessed, stay multi-dimensional, continue experiencing.